things. Hello, welcome to another Ralph Fanshaw video. So basically I've very kindly been allowed to come and have a little look and a review around this MAN. Basically I saw this I was driving down the A14, as you can see, just beside them other trucks there, and I thought that is definitely worthy of a review. So I rang them up and I said, can I come and have a butcher's at this MAN? And they said, yeah, of course you can. So here we are, and what a thing it is. So this colour is Lotus Orange, and obviously it's been, Truckfest. It's basically Truckfest material, essentially. But as you can see on the bottom, we've got our. It's got a splitter. It's got the Dutch headboard, all the spotlights. I think personally, looks like a deep sun visor as well. I think, but personally, I think it's had some quite subtle and. It's not over the top. It looks nice. Aluminium side guards as well. Durabrights. Really smart looking lorry. And obviously it's been well looked after, because, looking at the wings, they're all, they're not scratched up. So they must maybe add spare wing tops or something like that. But it's good to have a look around a newer MAN. Basically the TGX. When I was working for MAN, it was more TGAs really, but TGX is like the newest version, as we see here, and essentially they've come on quite a considerable amount since the time that that I was working for MAN. Well, I'll give you a closer look. So obviously we've got these side guards, which are all aluminium, nicely welded up, which I think is quite nice. This is the sort of thing that I could see myself owning, just by virtue of the fact that MAN is a good brand, a good lorry. I like the nuts and bolts of it, weirdly, as it might seem. The nuts and bolts that bolt these together. These bolts here, I've talked about it before, but they're a flanged nut and the bolt, and they're basically they've got like a grippy piece on them, a grippy bit. So there is a name for it, and I can't think for the life of me. Interestingly enough, so the batteries are now at the back. I was just looking at the you look at the air dryer, and the unloader valve is all located at the back of this chassis now. It used to be up round by the near side, I believe, if my memory serves me rightly. What the tyres like on it? Let's have a butcher's. It's got plenty of tread on the tyres. .385s, 385 55 22.5. So what I'm going to do is we'll raise the cab as well, which is interesting. So looking at. So if you've got to change a bulb, used to be that you'd take this one off, or you'd have the electric cab tilt piece there. But it looks like it might be a pumping system, a manual. Have a look around the other side with it. That splitter does look really cool. She's for sale, as it says on there. I'm surprised it hasn't sold, to be honest with you. So I was coming up the coming up the A12 to go down the A14, and I saw it and I thought, God, that's nice. And then I thought, oh, see if I can go and do a review on that. Anyway, I forgot about it, and then next thing you know, I had to go up the A12 again, and of course it was still there. I thought, oh well, that must be fate. I've got to go and have a butcher's at it. Before you know it, the next thing you know, I might be buying it, but I haven't got the work for it. That's the problem. I haven't got the necessary quals, not yet anyway. So I think you probably, that guy's done looks like he's done the paintwork, and I tell you what, he's done a beautiful job on it. I mean, this is just beautiful, it really is. We'll climb up into the cab anyway. Have a butcher's inside. It's nice. It's got a diff lock. Or the lane guard. I'm still in the cab. There's the light, that switch there does all the lights on the roof, the flashing beacons. Now I was going to have a look to see if I can get this. Here we go. So you can lift the bunk up, obviously muck about with the fridge inside there, and then your storage. These are big. Look at the size of that. That comes out all the way, which is handy. Good little bit of storage, that. Fridge is in good condition. Nice and clean. That shuts like that. You shut the bunk down. The bed feels nice. It's relatively thin mattress, but apparently a DAF mattress is one of the best ones to have. I have slept in a DAF once, but it was an old one. What's that bit do? Right. Let me put my shoes back on. This has got a hill hold button as well, or park. Yeah, it's hill hold, not park assist. So that button there. Essentially, what happened was they had problems where you'd be on a hill, and the driver would need to essentially do a handbrake, a hill start, but they for some reason, because it was auto, the hill start kind of went out of their heads. So so they developed this button, so you push that button, it holds the brakes on, which is quite handy. Turn the radio off a minute. But the dash is nice. It's all completely digital. So what we'll do is we'll start the engine. Sounds sweet. So this button here should do the lift axle, because I've noticed that was it up or down? Let's have a look. Yes, it's up. The lift axle's up. So we've got our ride height on. So if I push this button, which turns on what they call ECAS. Is it ECAS? And then if I push the level button, that should go out now. There you go. So it must be activated. Independent heating, risk of, don't know what that means. Maybe someone in the comments can tell us that. Push the OK button. Now these driving controls on the steering wheel changed quite a lot. There you go. Yeah, so you've got all your cruise control switches and all that there. And then this is just to scroll through all the functions by looks of things. Let's lift the grill. So there's your OBD port there. So if you need to plug her in. So they used to have a grill badge, the grill pull wood there, but maybe they don't have it on this one. But some of them have switches here, so this one doesn't. I've seen that before. When was the tachograph done? Let's have a look. March 25. Open up the near side door. What is that? Oh. That's not working. power window. Power windows work. There must be a reason for that. Oh, there you go. Didn't push it hard enough. These door hinges used to be a problem when they would basically break the door hinge, and the doors would break in and around here. But they've obviously, that's the newer version, or like the updated version that they've got. Put you there for a minute. I don't want to pull that anymore. Got a subwoofer and all the toolkit, which is handy, with the towing iron. So I was trying to figure out how to do the grille. So basically, in the olden days with the old MANs, they used to have a pull cord, or like a pull handle, which was located here and in around this location. Well, they've moved it now and they've got a new grille pull. So basically it's underneath the middle. There's a bit that you pull up towards you underneath there. So now we've got the grill up, which is great. I've painted all under the grill, which is great as well. So there's your coolant. In fact, what we'll do is we'll run it up and we'll just see what the old, not that it would be breathing, but what the engine's breathing like. She started. Starts lovely. Doesn't breathe at all, but it is cold though, so the engine's cold. Now, when I remember looking at these before, back in when I was working for MAN, when they changed the, they had the Euro 6, I think it was, EGR on system, was so complicated looking. This is it, but this has got AdBlue, so yeah. But that it was either Euro 6 or Euro 5, but my word, that was one complicated bit of kit. Right, I'm going to raise the cab in a second, so I'm just going to have a little look, make sure there's no other switches that I need to pull. It looks like we're good to go. Right, so raising the cab. Essentially, what we need to do is make sure the handbrake's on, which it is. Yeah, so handbrake is on, which is located with that little there. And we know that it's on as well because we've got the parking light there. Neutral, and essentially what you should really have is take the keys out as well. Make sure the doors are shut and make sure that everything inside the cab is moved out of the way. So I've already had a look and I know that it's clear, but what you can find is that if you're raising the cab and like all the driver or there's like stuff inside it, then that can come off of the bed, hit the windscreen and damage the windscreen. Next thing you know, someone's having to pay for a windscreen. Okay, make sure the doors are shut. We'll take the keys out. We'll leave them on the back there. Right, the cab is now up. Now, I was going to show you a very interesting thing that they don't normally, well, they never used to fit on these, but well, I'll go into it more now. But there's the washer bottle, which is interesting. Is there a hole in the wing? Yeah, I'm guessing that this bit must reveal it there. You can see the tyre, it's in good condition. Now, some of the things that you might want to check when you're looking at buying a lorry or any second-hand vehicle, really. But this bit here is the spring, and at the front you've got the bit that connects it to the chassis, and basically there's a bush in there, so that might be something you might want to check when you're doing, when you're checking, if you're with a view of buying something like this. Reason being is that could be quite expensive to replace if you were going to have to pay someone to do it or do it yourself. The shock absorber here, so these bushes, so you could check those, check the bottom ones. You've got your anti-roll bar link, so bushes in there, and there's a bush right up underneath here. We'll see if we can get it with the camera. Just there. So you've got the top and the bottom bush, and they can wear out quite. It's difficult to see, but basically the simplest way of what they would do in the MOT station would be align the bolt through the middle of the bracket, and if it's not in the middle of it, then the bush is worn out. So that's kind of one of those scenarios, or one of those checks. And then your steering joints. Can't get my hand around. There you go. So that's your near side track rod end. That would be if I was playing that or lift. Sometimes they back in the olden days they used to have a measurement for the lift on it. This is like a brand new lorry though. I don't think it's done an awful lot of miles. That's your fuel. No, that's an oil filter there. Or is it? No, that's the fuel filter. Fuel filter. It was always on the near side anyway. So the fuel service centre has changed a lot since the last time I looked at, or worked for MAN. And you've got your fuel pump, which is there, main high pressure pump. Now this is interesting because they were going away from dipsticks because they remember them saying that they weren't reliable enough to have them. So then there was a few years, I believe, that they didn't have. There was only electric. But yeah, she's got a dipstick on her. It's got oil in the engine, which is handy. The big ECU there, engine ECU. Then you've got your electric viscous coupling, viscous fan. That's all good. Intercooler pipes there and there. They were always a problem for coming loop or bursting the clamp. Go around the other side. It looks weird, I think, with the number plate in the middle. Personally, I always just expect them to be there, but that's just me. This has got the I don't know what you call them, but these little side markers, which are nice. So that bit there is the drag link. So and obviously this is the steering box. Look at that bit. This cab must be mounted a bit higher than the earlier version. And of course it goes back to here and then connects to the wheel station or the hub, and of course the kingpins as well. There's no way if you were looking at this, there's no way you could check the kingpins other than jacking it up and having your bar and all the rest of it. But I'm sure if you're going towards buying something like this, then I'm sure that whoever you were buying it off of would be happy, and they had a workshop here and everything for you to look at it. There's the oil filter, which is always useful, and this is all EGR stuff, which is all new. In the earlier versions they used to be mounted at the back here, and what had happened is this valve, which is different now, this is all new EGR valve or actuator, this would seize up because it was mounted at the back. Yeah, Interesting to see it. I'm a very lucky chap to have him to show me around. Obviously, originally this would have been out the factory as white, as we can see. Interesting. Right, so now I'm going to lower the cab back down. Turn. What I just turned then was that valve. So for you to be able to see, this bit here is the cab tilt pump, and that bit there is the valve. So when you want to raise the cab, that valve comes up, and when you want to lower it, it goes back down again. So just for your situational awareness. Okay, let's get her down. Yep. There we go. Go to the smaller bar now. So as you pump this down, it will go it will sort of drop in a minute. That's it. And you have to keep pumping it, or at least that's what we were told many years ago. Keep pumping the cab down until it goes hard. But basically, that's on the other version, on a different version to this, but on more the L2000. Reason being is they used to have an elongated hole where the top bolt, or where the cab tilt ram would mount to the cab, and the elongated hole used to pump down the ram or bring it down so that it went tight onto the bolt, and it meant that you didn't have the knocking noise when you were driving down the road. It's mainly on an L2000. Lovely. Right, get rid of my tools out of the way. nice. That does look good. Put main beam on. Oh yeah. What a truck though. What was the other thing I was going to show you? The only other thing would be when you're having the butchers underneath here. So you've got these torsion bars here. You could check the bushes in them, but in my experience, they never wear out that quickly, to be honest. And then you've got your, well, what I would call the A-frame there, which goes to the back. And then, of course, the other thing, so it goes to the in between the axles, and then you've got this back one. You've got a different version where mainly on a 4x2, they've got like an axle stabilizer, which is like a sort of a cross, you know, a massive bit of metal which is located on the top of the axle in the shape of a cross. Now, we were talking earlier about, well, I don't know if I was talking earlier, but I don't know if it caught it on the video, but the location of the batteries and the air dryer canister. Now, a lot of the reason for that now is because they've got this great big diesel particulate filter here, so it takes up an awful lot of room. So you've got to relocate other stuff, and that's common on a lot of more modern trucks now, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware. So, but yeah, it's a really smart looking machine. We'll get up in the cab and just make sure that none of the lights are on for the cab to be, since I've raised it, and we'll put all the lights on and see what she looks like as the light's starting to go now as well. You can see actually how much more raised up the cab is than what they used to be, and probably maybe why they put the splitter on it, because it looks to make it look as if it's lower, I guess. I'll put you down there a minute.